Well, I'm trying to put in headlights. What I did do is find some motorcycle lights here. And I got them where they'll fit here. They do go in. What I managed to do was cut this lip off right here. Pulled this little nickel piece off and cut it. And I managed to get them inside the headlight. And these mount by like a motorcycle. They have a side thing here, and I marked it. See my little orange mark there on both sides, so I could put a bolt in here. The up and down of the light I can adjust a little. I have more adjustment here in the light itself. I can move it on that. The lights have an adjuster inside to kind of move it in an angle. So, but my kind of my problem here, this is right at the edge of the lip. And this is out, oh, I don't know how far that is, 3/8 of an inch or something. So I'm going to have to put a bolt and 3 or 4 washers, and then the light, and then a nut on the inside. It's going to be kind of tricky, even if I do get my bolt hole drilled correctly here. But at the end of the day, I'll get them in, and I got a little thin piece of chrome stick-on strip like for doors coming, and I can put that around there, and that should make it look pretty good. I'll see if I can put this in and let you see what it looks like when it's... Well, that's approximately where the light goes. It's not going to look too bad. These are really cheap. They were 50 bucks a piece, or for Harleys or something. So they're not real good. This one over here was broken. The little clip that holds it on, it's right there in the back. It's supposed to go on a little tab that's on here. Anyway, I re-glued it, and this is all just plastic. It's not very good at all, but these here are good metal, but they're much smaller than the headlight, so I'm going to go with these. Just try to get lights in it, and just press on. I got to drill holes here and see if I can get this even to bolt up. Well, this is going to be a little tricky. If I've got this in here where the chrome all matches, I can't get the light out. The reason being, the right here's what holds the chrome into the box, and once it's in, I can't get to that screw. What I could do is cut a hole in here where I can get to it. I was hoping that I'd be able to tilt it down like that enough to get to that screw to put this on. The only other solution I got here is to make this top hole big enough to do it. I don't have it quite exactly centered. It looks like I need to cut a little more off of this top piece here. So that's a problem. That's the only thing I can think of in order to use this. And bolt these in from the inside. I could maybe put a nut or something on them. In the back. But there's no way really that I can get in there as it is. The only solution I got really is to put a nut inside the light, make that kind of permanent. So all I have to do is screw them in from this side. Let me pull this out of here and see what I can do. I really don't want to cut a big hole in this light if I can get away from it. It wouldn't be that bad. I don't know, I'm going to take it apart here and take a look and see what I can do. Well, I kind of solved this problem with I just drilled a hole here where that screw goes, and I can reach in there and tighten that screw and loosen it. So once this is tight, then I can pop this metal piece in and be able to get to that. Just going to take a little adjusting and tweaking, but that's really, that don't look too bad, a hole in it right there to get it apart. If I can get to the other one here without, I think I can drill it from the inside, but this looks like it's gonna work out. And so I can bolt this down to both the inside to the light good, and I can still get down here and get that screw out. So I could put a nut on the inside, take this all off, and then hopefully put the light into the thing. And say it's going to take a little doing, but it looks real good. I may have to open it up a little, get my chrome strip in there. I may not put anything in it. Looks pretty good as is, but it would be nice if I could get that little rubber piece in there. That would help seal it. And if I have to, I can put a little rubber plug or something in that hole over the screw. So this looks like the way to put it in. It's too bad these are not real quality lights, but they're not. What do you expect for $100 for two of them? You know, not much. But probably what I will do, I'm eventually going to figure out some kind of bumper across here, and I'll put good driving lights on it. And these will be, well, I don't know how much night driving this truck's going to do anyway. I think headlights good enough to see with is good enough for this truck. Well, there it's in. Good and solid. I was able to get these tight without gluing them. And I was able to get my two screws that hold it together in there. So, looks pretty good. Let's see if I can turn them on here. Oh man, no light. I'm sure I plugged it in. Running lights is on. Nothing. I'll be damned. Don't know if it didn't get it plugged in good or what. I'll try the other one here and see on the other side, see if it's working. Well, no cigar here. I did test this and I know the light worked. It's not that hard. I'll try to take it apart again and see if I can figure out what's going on. It just wasn't plugged in at all. And my holes where my screws are a little crooked, but they work. And there's my high beam and low beam. Got a little adjusting to do, but it's in and it works. Moving on to the other side, I'm just taking a screwdriver and bending this chrome ring. I'll take it off, and it looks like I gotta cut that thing out of there too. And then I cut the edge of this off and get ready to mount the other light. Alright, I got that cut off, polished up, ground down a little bit, and I also had to grind quite a bit off of this mount here because it interferes with that bracket that the headlights mounted on. And I learned on the last one that it has to go right to the edge of where the chrome goes in order for the diameter to be big enough. And you might not have that complete there on the bottom. Maybe that's just a scratch in it. It looks pretty good to me. Let me grind that down a little bit. Just to clean it up a little. But that looks pretty good. And the light's fitting in it now. So now I'll mark my holes and start drilling them. Alright, I got those bored. Had to elongate them a little bit. But get the light where it's sitting in here awfully centered. Pretty good anyway. And put a wash on it like that, it'll cover up my hole. So that don't look too bad. Now I'll move the light around and find out where I need to drill this hole to take my mounting screws out. This one I had a little trouble with. I bored my holes here to take the screws out, but I didn't get them in the right place. And rather than make a big ass hole in there, try to get this thing together, what I did was I JB welded a nut on the inside of both of them. So now I can take these bolts loose without fear of that nut falling out. And I can put the headlight ring and everything on the plastic. And I can reach these two screws here from the outside. And then bolt the, or screw the light in. And then push the whole thing back in there and tighten up my side adjuster bolts. So this one was kind of a problem. I should have put it in like this and marked my hole. I didn't. I just eyeballed it from the outside and tried to mark it. I was probably right, but the headlight wasn't setting in exactly the same place once I got these bolts in. And it was far enough that I couldn't really, if I had a good magnetic screwdriver, I could probably get them in. But fooling around with it, if I drop a screw down in there, I had to take the whole thing apart. So anyway, I can put the headlight in now and go ahead and adjust or put the headlight in the housing, and I take that housing loose and put the thing in it, and then I can put it back in. And these bolts will be, they'll start threading real easy, and then I can just bolt the whole thing up. That's how I look at it and see what it looks like. Here we go. Got it in and it works. Both of them. One looks a little brighter to me than the other. No, they both look the same from here, but hope I don't have a high and low mixed up. Let's see what happens here. Find my dimmer. Where is it? Way up there. Both high, both low. I think they just look different because that one's hitting that yellow box. But anyway, the lights are in. I got a little more gap on this one than the other one. That's good enough because I'll put that little chrome strip in here. They're about the same. So it's a kind of a good day's job on this. I didn't spend all day on it, but I had to fool around with a water heater to move it. I'm gonna have to work on that tomorrow. I got a leak in it. But anyway, here's headlights, and they're pretty good. Time to rock and roll here on the Dodge. Like I said before, I got these really nice American racing wheels. They wouldn't fit. That's a 4 3/4. These are 4 1/2. Then I ordered another set, same thing. But anyway, I got this adapter here, and this is supposed to take how about that? Goes right on there perfectly. It's got special nuts that go with it. This is 4 3/4 to 4 1/2. So things ought to work out good. I'll whack these on here real quick and see what the wheel looks like. I just check these with a little straight edge, and these studs are sticking out about 1/8 of an inch, and there's no way that they'll go on there. That's flush, so I either have to drill holes in the wheel or grind these off. So it looks like it's going to be grinding these off. Well, I ground them off to the first thread. I put the nut on it, so that'll kind of clean up the thread if I boogered it. And we'll put the wheel back on it and see what it looks like. Well, I ground them down, and I've checked them here with my straight edge. Everything's all good, nothing's hitting. So time to put on the wheel. See what that looks like. Well, that's a beauty. They're not a perfect match for this one, but they look nice. In fact, they're not even a close match, but they went right on. And now all I got to do is get some tires. It looks like I'm still about 3 inches inside the fender, so I'm good there. That's fine. Also, I got me a 750 Edelbrock here. It's pretty good shape. I got it at $100 plus shipping, and I'll get rid of that old smog holley up there. Put this thing on, and I also got my chrome strip there. I put a little piece in here on the headlight. You can see how that looks. That's going to make it look pretty good. So, got away from working on a washer and dryer. Get back on the rat rod. Well, I've got this 1407 carb here. It was pretty stuck. I took it apart, cleaned it out. Let me turn off that lathe. I'm just letting this thing run to kind of break it in, warm up the bearings. But anyway, my ported vacuum here, it was gummed up pretty bad. I couldn't get the I got this one cleaned pretty good. This is your manifold vacuum. The high one is a ported vacuum. I just couldn't get anything through there. So what I did was pull this little aluminum plug out and just drill a little hole in it, put a screw in it, pulled it out, and sure enough, this vacuum line back here was completely plugged up. So I drilled it out. Looks like somebody had put Bondo or something in it. I cleaned that out and put the plug back in it and put a little JV weld in it, smoothed it off. These butterflies weren't turning at all, and they're nice and free now. Apparently this thing was completely full of gas and it set for many years, but it's all good. I still gotta clean a little rust and stuff off with a wire brush. And over here at the top end of it, it was awfully gooped up and full of stuff. The floats here were completely stuck. You can still see some of that old gas on there. I haven't really cleaned them up. They're still sticky. Accelerator pump was stuck. It was full of goop. Anyway, I just took some chem tool here and sprayed everything down good. And I've got my parts down here. This is my secondary boosters and my metering jets. I was going to get a can of that carburetor cleaner, but it was like $70, so this is the only thing I really care about is the ports in here that were all plugged up. So to keep this stuff from evaporating, I just put it in a little jug and put a lid on it to keep it, you know, this was, you know, stuff's getting more and more expensive, $8 or something, and you can go through a couple cans pretty easy. But I've got pretty much everything cleaned up that's important. I'll get these float bolts. I can't get the pins out yet. They're still kind of messed up. But that's my Edelbrock 750. But I'm pleased about the base getting cleaned up here. Everything's all nice and free. I don't see any major marks or anything. I got it all blown out good. This was full of stuff. You can kind of see the rust in there now, but I'll clean that up. It really don't make any difference, but since I'm down this far, I might as well. And I've got a couple jets down in here. Oh, you can't really see them. There we go. I had to look through the camera instead of, there should be one on each side. Yeah, there's the other one. So I'll just dump a little goop in there. Excuse my shop, guys. It's a mess. My lathe's working pretty good now, but I'm just trying to use what little bench I got here, and I'm gonna just spray some stuff in these jets. Looks like they're working good. I haven't got to the accelerator pump there yet. Just trying to clean up everything here. You can still see, even after a couple cleaning, I'm still getting a lot of old gasoline and stuff out of it. I'll just let that soak a bit, and then I'll bore it out. I got a carburetor kit coming for it. Probably not much there. Probably the float valves. I doubt if it'd give me any metering jets, but the main thing is to get all this old varnish out of here, and I'll probably bring you back whenever I start putting this together. But that's how we fix the ported vacuum. I can see if they were trying to use ported vacuum and it was plugged up, that's why they took it off. Who knows? But this should be quite an improvement. I've got this. This is a good carburetor. It ran good for a while until I was out here just. That's a nice carburetor, but it's a smog. You can see the little plastic air screws right here. They only go like 3/4 of a turn, so you really can't adjust the idle. But I've got a similar throttle set up here, and I've got just a temporary choke I put on here so the guy that was shipping it would be able to run and drive it. But I've still got a lot of work to do in here. Look like my fan all turned out pretty good. I'll make a little better radiator mount than this. I was just trying to get it running and driving. The guy was going to buy it, but he didn't, so I got stuck with a lot of temporary fixes that I wouldn't have done if I didn't have him wanting it. I've still got to crawl up in there and get mufflers on it. This was some copper coated brake line. It just rusted up really bad, so I bought another roll of copper nickel, and see, this looks pretty nice. Here's the other stuff that was out in the rain. You can see what it did. It just rusted up. So I got a couple of pieces. It's probably all right underneath. Probably okay up here on top. I got plenty of brake and everything, and nothing's going to leak. But I just want to make this look a lot better. And I'm going to have to take the headers off, I think, to weld up the pipe. That's going to be probably a whole day for each side. Anyway, just a little update here. once I get that off, then I can clean up this block and paint it and make this look a lot better. So a little bit of an update moving forward on the carburetor. Well, I'm going to move on the truck here again. I got some little roof lights up there, and I picked up this air horn. It's pretty loud, and I bought can't see it back in there, I'll get some light, but I bought this compressor, 1.5 liter tank. I was thinking about mounting it back here in the back. I couldn't really figure out how to do that, but it did go behind the seat. I'll get some light in here and show you. Well, there it is down in there, and I've got the seat will close, go forward and back. I got plenty of room there. It's a little bit loud, and I got about maybe a 10-second blast on the horn. The little air compressor takes a while to fill that tank up, but I got a couple toots, and wait a minute, get a couple more toots. But these horns are going to look good up on top, so that's what I'm going to do, is mount that compressor. I got some little rubber feet. I'll try to put those in there and get this all hooked up. Well, took a little doing, but got the air horn on. The hardest part was holding it with a weight on top while I got a bolt started, but that looks pretty good, and that's approximately where my running lights are going to go. It's right in the middle and straight. So I siliconed everything up in there. You really can't see nothing in here. I'll get some light on it. Oh, there's the light. There we go. You can see I put the one mounting bolt, and I got the air compression fitting in good. Now I need to run the hose over here to this thing, but that looks pretty good and it's nice and solid. I put it on with some silicone gasket maker. I'll go back around it later with my finger and put a little more on it. That bolt there in front got caught a bit of silicone on the bolt and the washer, so it shouldn't leak any water. Anyway, I hope it don't, but it's kind of a done deal. Looks pretty good. Sure, a lot of work just for a horn. Money too. I was just going to put the horn on as a fake, but I was able to get them to work. So then I had to buy a compressor, and I've got a valve for it I have to figure out next.